So no time like the present, right? So video number 1 as Baba Yaga's Hermitage. And today is a garden video. Not that there is a whole lot to see right now. It's you can definitely see the infrastructure, but I have been working up the borders with wood chips and filling in some places where it has really decomposed. I need to do more over here. You can see we're sort of getting down to dirt right here. So I want to put more in through here. There wasn't any back here, right in this little patch, so I filled that in. And we've got some things that are coming up. We've got a lot of little daffodils. These I transplanted last year late, and they actually bloomed. And we've got more coming up. This is lunaria, and I have this everywhere. As you can see, a lot of the bigger plants will bloom this year. As far as I know, it's a biennial, although it almost acts like a perennial here. Well, no, not exactly. An annual is what I meant. What do we have over here? We've got, there is, I saw it the other day. There is a rhubarb in here which may get transplanted. I did cut back a lot of this blackberry here as sort of hodgepodgey as it looks. Put some bird seed out on the stump. I had a few crows out here earlier, which was fun. I've got a lot of foxglove that reseeded, and if they haven't died in some of the real heavy frosts, it looks like they'll be okay. This is some goldenrod that, interestingly, has not gone completely dormant. There's tansy in here and meadowsweet that's all dormant. More of the foxgloves. Hopefully I can get those to keep on keeping on. Some St. John's wort that didn't die back this year, which I'm interested to see. This is marshmallow. That'll come back. A little bit more St. John's wort. There's really just a lot of perennials in here. Gave it so much shade. So I transplanted it here, and I bought another little bare root one that's going to go right around here. And all of this is perennials or annuals or biennials. There is some, I'm surprised, but there is some Queen Anne's lace that it self-sewed, but I didn't think it would come up until after it got stratified with the cold, but there it is. There's a lot of anisyssip in here. There is a fair amount of echinacea, and these little mini sunflowers, and I've got to find the name for them because I don't know what it is. There's a couple of kinds of mugwort. That is just regular mugwort, and then there's also some California mugwort in here. There are some little yellow narcissus that always come up early, but other bulbs are coming up as well because it hasn't been that cold. So I put down new wood chips all around here. I haven't decided yet what's going to be in this bed, and I'm going to take out a little bit more of that grass there too. Lots of little daffodils coming up in here, as you can see, and also across the way. Lots of nigella that's self-seeded. that's growing. I don't know what it's going to do if we ever do actually get some snow, but I guess I shouldn't worry about that. And I pruned my figs, and I'm taking out one of them, this one, because it never really bore, and it actually just created a lot of shade for everything else in here. So that one's coming out. I have some sorrel underneath here. This is mostly on it because the deer were getting it. So this is going to be bed through here and all along here and there, but it's going to be in-ground beds. There's like some horseradish back there and some daylilies that I don't really want to take out. And all of these shrubs are blackcurrant. There's an apricot back there that has gummosis at the bottom, and hopefully I'll get it to recover. There's also another blueberry back there, and a haskap, and a chokecherry. But these are all the beds that I have covered up for winter. They all need to be topped off, maybe with some mushroom compost. Obviously, I still have some kale in here, which I think I'm going to take out and transplant maybe over in here so that I can top up these beds and just give them a little bit of a rest. All my perennial herbs like sage, thyme, oregano, they just kind of hang in through the winter. And I am going to build I'm going to have 3 arches, just cheap garden arches that I bought, and I'm going to put them side by side between these 2 beds, and then I'm going to lay some gridded wire on top of that, and that will be this year for, I think mostly for the cucumbers, because even when I put up a high trellis, like a 6-foot trellis, they still were like growing beyond that, so I'm hoping that will work for them this year. In this patch over here, I got some, what's it called? Something gem popcorn. Mostly I'm growing it to see if I can get the pretty little cobs, but we'll see. And I may grow them in a clump there for better pollination, and maybe the butternut squash on some kind of trellis here too, the mini butternut squash, because those didn't give me a lot last year, but what they did give me was really good. Another apricot here. The apricots I'm waiting to prune until the buds start to swell. That's the directions anyway. There's some more blackberries in here. There's a rhubarb there, and I have a couple more rhubarb roots to plant. These are all raspberries in here, and there's some little dead animal, well, carcass of an animal in here that Avery kept rolling around in that I've just covered up with those little trellises. I think my yuzu, I don't know if it will come back. It's supposed to be good down to 0 degrees, but it didn't like 9 degrees. The strawberries have never died back this year. I covered them up because the deer kept eating them. And these are Viola odorata. These are actually the violets that get fragrant. Our native violets are, I think they call them dog violets. They're pretty, but they don't taste good or smell good. Here's my persimmon. This is the name on here? I don't think it is anymore. Maybe it is. What kind of persimmon is this? This one is Guiombo. It's an Asian persimmon. It's the kind that are conical and gets soft on native rootstock. Didn't grow much last year. We'll see what it does this year. There's the elder. Needs to be trimmed back a little bit. I also have a plum here that I need to prune. This pomegranate didn't do anything. I thought it completely died last year and then it came back, but it looks like it came back from the rootstock. So I don't know what's going to happen with it this year. This is a bush cherry that I transplanted. Used to be over there, and it just got eaten by the deer too much. It was just too out and tempting for them. So I moved it over here, and it will get more sun here as well. And I need to do some pruning on it. It's pretty tangled in there. This is a little apothecary rose that I think I'm gonna move over there, close to that trellis, but not on that trellis. And then along here, that's my Camellia sinensis, which is tea camellia. There's a little chase tree next to it that it doesn't get enough sun here, so yeah. And then there's a bunch of sweet woodruff in here that's kind of died back, but maybe it'll come back. I've got, these are all my saffron crocuses that will die back in the summer. There's more in those containers there. But I did get, you know, I got like a couple tablespoons of saffron from them this year. Another blackcurrant. These are a couple of gooseberries. They didn't grow much last year. Another blackcurrant. Another blackcurrant. I took out my 2 Rosa canina that were here on little towers because they just never did well here. So they're in pots right now. And one of them I think I'm gonna plant on the other side of the fence over here. Because I put this rose, this is also a climbing rose, it's not a Rosa canina, and I put one of the towers around it, but I think with one of the 2 that I have, I'm going to put it right in there in a tower. That's a mulberry there, more blackberries that are growing back through here. This is my muscadine that I grew from seed, and I had native passion flower here, but it was going everywhere, so I took it out. And I think I may get a cultivated muscadine from Edible Landscaping to put in there. Poor little gardenia. More St. John's wort that never died back all the way. Another fig. This one actually produced really well last year too. I'm going to put that other apothecary rose in here. I'm going to cut that azalea back a little bit. And this is my sweetgrass, just kind of hanging in there. And my poor rosemary. It did this before and it came back, so. And then I had hopped Avery this side now. Over here now. Come on. Good girl. I had hops on here, but it never did that well. I mean, it grew, but it never produced any buds. And I could use the space for something else. I'm actually thinking I may grow scarlet runner beans on this. And that's about it, other than there's linaria everywhere. There's little daffodils coming up everywhere. There will be lily of the valley underneath this Japanese maple that never completely loses its leaves. It does this every year. Oh yes, and this witch hazel. This is new. I put a witch hazel in here. And that's another gooseberry there. So that's it for the garden this winter. I'll show my indoor seed starting setup that I'm getting. Well, I built it, but I still need to put all the lights on it. Yeah, little by little, you will see more as it progresses. Take it easy.